President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received the CEO of the Norwegian company Scatec and the Chinese company Sungrow in Cairo.
The meeting was attended by Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, Deputy Prime Minister for Industrial Development and Minister of Industry and Transport Kamil El-Wazir, and Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy Engineer Mahmoud Asmat.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received on Sunday the CEOs of Norwegian company Scatec and Chinese company Sungrow in Cairo. The meeting was attended by Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, Deputy Prime Minister of Industrial Development and Minister of Industry and Transportation Kamil El-Wazir, and Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy Engineer Mahmoud Asmat. Presidential spokesman Ambassador Mohammed al-Shinawi said the President hailed cooperation between Egypt and the two companies for boosting the flow of foreign direct investments. He said such investments contribute to providing job opportunities in the renewable energy sector within the framework of Egypt's efforts to cement its position as a regional center for energy in the Middle East. Shinawi also added that the Scatec company's CEO reviewed during the meeting efforts by the company to provide clean energy and green fuel in various countries. Scatec CEO also reviewed cooperation between the company and Egypt, as cooperation between the two sides reflects on the increase in the volume and number of solar energy and wind energy projects to produce electricity, as well as green hydrogen projects in Egypt. During the meeting, the CEO of the Chinese company Sungrow reviewed efforts to produce the components of electricity stations and energy storage batteries in Egypt. He said the meeting reviewed cooperation to found an energy storage battery factory with a 10 megawatt annual capacity in Egypt. Shinawi also said that the meeting discussed prospects for three-party cooperation between Egypt and the Norwegian company Scatec and China's Sungrow company in accordance with the state's vision to place Egypt atop the list of countries producing and exporting green energy.
Foreign Minister Badr Abdul Ati participated in the preparatory ministerial meeting for the Arab Islamic Summit that will be held on Monday in Doha. Qatar hosts the summit of Arab and Muslim leaders to denounce the Israeli occupation attack on Hamas officials in Doha and to show solidarity with the Gulf state. Foreign Ministry spokesman Magid Al-Ansari said that Monday's meeting would consider a draft resolution on the Israeli occupation attack on the state of Qatar to be drafted at a ministerial meeting. Al-Ansari said that the summit reflected the broad Arab and Islamic solidarity with the state of Qatar in the face of the Israeli cowardly aggression and the categorical rejection of the Israeli state terrorism. Israel targeted the Hamas leaders last Tuesday in strikes on the Qatari capital, killing 5 Hamas members and the Qatari security officer.
On the sidelines of the preparatory ministerial meeting for the Arab Islamic Summit that is held in Doha, Foreign Minister Badr Abdul Ati convened with his Pakistani counterpart Mohammed Ishaq.
Also on Sunday, the top diplomat met with the Turkish and Kuwaiti counterparts. The details follow.
Minister Badr Abdul Ati met with his Pakistani counterpart Mohammed Ishaq Dar in Doha on Sunday, where they discussed bilateral relations and regional developments. The meeting took place on the sidelines of the preparatory ministerial meeting for an emergency Arab Islamic Summit. The two ministers reviewed the overall bilateral relations between their countries, expressing their mutual keenness to continue cooperation to elevate ties in all political, economic and commercial fields. They also expressed their desire to continue cooperation within the framework of the developing group of countries which Egypt took over the presidency of in December 2024. On the regional front, the ministers condemned the blatant Israeli aggression against Qatar and expressed their full solidarity with the Qatari government and people. Abdul Ati also briefed his Pakistani counterpart on Egypt's efforts to secure ceasefire and deliver humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip. The two ministers exchanged views on how to deal with the serious political and security challenges in the region to contribute to achieving security and stability. Also on Sunday, Foreign Minister Abdel met with his Turkish counterpart Hakan Fidan in Doha. The two ministers discussed bilateral ties and the momentum they have witnessed recently. On the regional arena, the two top diplomats expressed full solidarity with Qatar against the Israeli recent brutal strike. They also stressed the importance of achieving an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Meanwhile, Abdel met with his Kuwait counterpart Sheikh Abdullah Al Yehia on the sidelines of the ministerial preparatory meetings for the Arab Islamic Summit in Doha. The two ministers hailed the Egyptian-Kuwaiti bilateral ties, expressing keenness on boosting them in all domains. They expressed solidarity with Qatar and full rejection of violating the sovereignty of any Arab country. The two top diplomats asserted that stability and security in the region will not be achieved without reaching a comprehensive settlement for the Palestinian cause based on a two-state solution.
Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdurrahman Al Thani urged the international community to stop using double standards and punish Israel for what he described as its crimes. He was speaking at a preparatory meeting on the eve of an emergency summit of Arab and Islamic leaders organized by Qatar after Israel carried out an unprecedented airstrike on Hamas leaders in Doha. The Qatari Prime Minister added the time has come for the international community to stop using double standards and to punish Israel for all the crimes that it has committed, and Israel needs to know that the ongoing war of extermination that our brotherly Palestinian people are being subjected to and whose aim is to expel from their lands will not work.
Egypt condemned the terrorist attack that targeted the Pakistani soldiers in northwest Pakistan, resulting in a number of deaths and injuries. A Foreign Ministry statement said that Cairo reiterates the firm rejection of all forms of violence, extremism and terrorism. The statement said Cairo expresses the full solidarity with Pakistan during this critical time, extending the deepest condolences and sincere sympathies to the Pakistani government and the people, as well as the families of the victims, wishing the injured a speedy recovery.
The 36th Zad al-Izza aid convoy launched from Egypt to Gaza Strip within the framework of continuous efforts to alleviate the suffering of the Palestinians in the Strip. Sources in the Rafah border crossing said that the convoy included 8 trucks carrying tons of food, medical and relief aid. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli followed up on the financial resources required to secure the country's supply of medicines and medical equipment, reaffirming the government's commitment to safeguard health care stability.
This came during a meeting presided by Madbouli and attended by the Ministers of Health, Finance and a number of top executives, focusing on boosting the pharmaceutical manufacturing. The details follow.
Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli shared a high-level meeting to review the availability of financial allocations for the Unified Procurement Authority responsible for covering the purchase of medicines and medical supplies. The meeting brought together Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Health Khalid Abdel Ghaffar, Minister of Finance Ahmed, Chairperson of the Unified Procurement Authority Hisham State, Presidential Financial Advisor General Ahmed Shadli, as well as representatives from the Central Bank of Egypt. Outset, the Prime Minister underlined the government's top priority of ensuring a secure stockpile of medicines and supplies, whether through domestic production or imports, while stressing the importance of securing the necessary financial resources to avoid debt accumulation and maintain stability in the sector. Health Minister Abdel Ghaffar highlighted efforts to localize pharmaceutical manufacturing, aiming for greater self-sufficiency and reduced reliance on imports. He emphasized ongoing monitoring of market flows to ensure availability in hospitals and pharmacies alongside stricter oversight to meet citizens' needs. Finance Minister Kojuk affirmed that his ministry is working with both the Health Ministry and the Procurement Authority to stabilize supply chains and address pending financial matters. He also announced new financing mechanisms to improve liquidity for pharmaceutical companies. For his part, Hisham State praised the state's support for uninterrupted drug supplies, pointing to the newly introduced electronic procurement system, which prevents the build-up of supplier debts. He described the authorities' companies as strategic arms of the state, playing a central role in securing the nation's pharmaceutical needs. Cabinet spokesperson Ambassador Mohammed Al-Humusani added that the meeting also tackled the financial requirements needed to pay suppliers promptly, thereby sustaining the authorities' pivotal role in supporting Egypt's healthcare sector.
The Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources signed 3 new oil and gas exploration agreements worth over $121 million. The first agreement reassigns the North Sinai offshore area to Branco, Egypt, with planned investments of $46 million. The second grants Dragon Oil of the UAE rights in East Al-Hamd with commitments exceeding $40 million. And the third with Abachi covering an extended concession of the Western Desert involving $35 million in investments and 14 new wells. Minister of Petroleum Karim Badawi said the deals highlight growing confidence in Egypt's investment climate and support national plans to boost production and secure domestic energy needs.
Minister of Planning, Economic Development and International Cooperation Rania Al-Mashot held talks with the Standard & Poor's Credit Rating Agency. The talks tackled the developments in the Egyptian economy and enhancing cooperation. During the meeting, Al-Mashot reviewed the developments on the overall economic indicators and the state's economic and structural policies. Al-Mashot said that the steps to empower the private sector and attract the local and foreign investments were also discussed.
Minister of Agriculture Ala Farouk inaugurated the 37th Sahara International Exhibition and Conference. The exhibition is the most prominent event in the agricultural sector in Egypt and the Middle East. It is held under the patronage of Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, the Ministry of Agriculture, and several relevant ministers and government agencies. The exhibition, which is held from the 14th to the 16th of September, features extensive international participation and new agricultural initiatives. More than 350 exhibitors are taking part in the event, representing more than 450 brands from 10 different countries. Those include Spain, Singapore, the Netherlands, Turkey, China, India, Greece, Italy, Poland, and Jordan.
Egypt's stock market indices collectively went up in the trading session after selective purchasing operations by the Arab and the foreign investment funds reached higher rates. The benchmark EGX 30 index gained 0.5% to close at 35,111.82 points. The EGX 70 index for the small and medium businesses also gained 0.12% to close at 10,923.58 points. And the broader EGX 100 index also increased by 0.21% to close at 14,420.39 points. Meanwhile, the market capital of the listed companies gained £21 billion to close at £2,508 billion amid deals and transactions of about £17.4 billion.